talking about here too, with with players opting out this year from the NFL. Uh, Again, it's no shock that we're seeing so many players opt out, and of course, some players being really critical of it, but still opting to go out and play this year, at least for now. But Thursday is Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern time is going to be the deadline, so players at least have at least another day or so, 2 more days to make up their minds whether they want to play this year or not. And again, if these players decide to opt out, I don't blame them at all one bit.
Yeah, I think obviously, it's their decision whether they want to play or not. No hard feelings if those guys don't want to play. It's the most important thing to keep yourself safe, keep your family safe. So do I blame these guys for not wanting to play if they feel unsafe? Absolutely not. So I think I think they're gonna do what they got to do to keep everybody that they know safe. So yeah, I don't blame at all.
Yeah, 100%. And kind of now switching gears here now to a player that's hoping to try and get back into the league. And that is Antonio Brown. Antonio Brown, as we all know, was a superstar for the Pittsburgh Steelers at wide receiver, but then became unhappy there, was traded to, now it's the Las Vegas Raiders. But some more drama occurred there with him, as we all know, last year. Had the helmet issue there, and eventually just became a more hostile environment there when he was there. And eventually he gets released, signs on with the Patriots, plays for 1 game, but then eventually more legal issues start to occur for him. Of course, right now, Antonio Brown, he has been suspended 8 games there by the NFL because he violated the league, because he violated the league conduct policy there for the sexual assault allegations. But, of course, his agent and him say he is looking forward to playing here in 2020. But for right now, though, with the type of history that he's had over the past year, is it going to be worth taking a chance on AB? Because, look, we know he is a superstar wide receiver. He is one of the best when he's playing. But now that he hasn't played for almost a year now, will we ever see him play again? I don't know. I'd say at this point it could be 50-50, maybe lower. But for right now, with the history, though, that he had last year, with the Raiders and in that short stint with them, missed time due to a foot issue there. Because of frostbiting issues, because he didn't use the proper machine right. So I definitely think, though, with Antonio Brown, if he wants to get back into the league, he has to prove to a lot of teams that he has changed his behavior habits a lot.
Yeah, I definitely see Antonio Brown coming back kind of for a deep playoff run with the team if, obviously, that ends up happening. I could definitely see, a team that's maybe struggling at the wide receiver position take a chance on him. Obviously, like you mentioned, he's one heck of a player. Obviously, yeah, he does have a very controversial past, but at the end of the day, maybe he has, learned from his mistakes and everything like that. Only time will tell kind of to see how he will act in the next few weeks or few months, I should say. But yeah, I mean, I definitely see a team taking a chance on him for a really deep, postseason run.
Oh, for sure. And if he does get back into the league, what team could he definitely end up going to? Of course, we know that the Seattle Seahawks have been rumored to possibly go after him, but of course with Josh Gordon there as well. Josh Gordon and Antonio Brown, no doubt these two guys, when they are playing, they are one of the best wide receivers here in the league, but both no doubt have had to endure a lot of legal issues. Josh Gordon with a history of drug abuse, being suspended constantly by the league, missing even a couple seasons too, but luckily, though, he's been able to kind of come back and prove to some teams like the Patriots he's still a very dominant wide receiver right there for him. But then it gets traded off to the Seahawks. Does a good job for him there, but still trying to fight his way back into the league, saying that he's a changed person. But I think for right now, if you're the Seahawks, what do you do here? Do you sign Antonio Brown or do you bring back Josh Gordon? Because if you bring back Josh Gordon, you know that he is familiar with the system, with Russell Wilson, with the Seattle team itself. So I definitely think Josh Gordon does bring a lot of upside if you do bring him back. With AB, he has to learn a whole new system. But of course he'll be suspended too for the first 8 games, so he'll be gone at least half the season if they even get to that point. So for the Seahawks at this point, if they bring back Josh Gordon, I think that could be their best bet possibly.
Yeah, I would definitely like the Seahawks. Obviously, as a Seahawks fan, I would like them to bring back Josh Gordon. Obviously, they do have a lot of really good weapons this year. I mean, we already know what Russell Wilson's capable of. They signed Greg Olsen. They have Will Dissly. He's coming off of an ACL injury. They have Chris Carson, Rashad Penny. And then they have DK Metcalf, who's obviously a really incredible wide receiver, and he'll be entering his second season. Tyler Lockett, great, speedy little wide receiver. And then if they get Josh Gordon, it's just another weapon for Russell Wilson. So I definitely would like the Seahawks to bring Josh Gordon back over Antonio Brown, like you mentioned, with kind of the, with AB not knowing the system, and obviously from his controversial past, it could be, up in the air of, how many days or how many weeks it actually takes to, for him to kind of slip up in a sense. So, it's definitely gonna be interesting to see what team signs AB. But for the Seahawks, I would definitely like them to bring back Josh Gordon.
I think that definitely be the smart move for them. Of course, with Josh Gordon, again, no doubt he has had his history of issues, though. But I think there being with Seattle with Russell Wilson, kind of being a mentor in a way. Not saying Wilson has to keep an eye on him, but definitely though, when you're playing with a guy like Russell Wilson, who's such a role model to so many people, I think that could really benefit Josh Gordon a lot. So we'll see what happens with that. But again, no, it's really going to be interesting to see what's all going to happen. So now, kind of switching gears here, still on the football talk, but for right now, we decided to give some predictions here for our for the NFC and the AFC West. Granted, hopefully the season does carry on still right now. So for my predictions right here, I got the Seahawks winning the division. Of course, I hope they go 0-16.
Oh, come on. No, you don't.
Well,
no, you don't. Come on.
Well, I'm sorry. That's just what I'm hoping for. No, that's probably not going to happen. The Seahawks, no doubt, I think they're going to have a really good season. Of course, we know with the NFC West, this is the toughest division throughout football, you could say. But I got the Seahawks going 12-4, Niners 10-6, Cardinals 8-8. I'll tell you what, I'm really excited for the Arizona Cardinals this year with DeAndre Hopkins coming over to them. Kyler Murray 8-8. Of course, people might think that's not right. Maybe 9-7. You're thinking. For some, of course, for some predictions, but I definitely am excited for the Cardinals to see what type of steps they are going to take here this coming season. Granted, they do get through a full season. With the Rams, boy, it's just been kind of a tough road for them the past year or so. And that logo, Carter, I know you got some opinions on that too as well, so I'll kind of save that for you. But for the Rams, we know last year, or going into last year, 2019, we thought that the Rams were no doubt going to be one of the top teams there in the league, coming off a Super Bowl loss to the Patriots. Still not a bad loss, but you still figured, though, that they could definitely be one of the top teams there in the NFC, but that was not the case last year for them. Missing the playoffs for the first time under Sean McVay, and getting Jalen Ramsey, that trade really has kind of screwed up their whole entire cap space, too. So for the Rams this year, not being able to do a whole lot, I had them at 7-9. Although, of course, that could be different. But, again, no, this division, no doubt, we all know is going to be the toughest division throughout all of football, no doubt.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Obviously, we know last year, it was pretty difficult, too. Obviously, Arizona did kind of struggle in some games, but they ended up beating the Seahawks last year in Seattle. So that's kind of why I give Arizona more of an edge this year. Obviously, they signed DeAndre Hopkins, like you mentioned, or they traded for him, I should say. But, yeah, I think Seattle is definitely going to win the division. They don't play Green Bay or the Saints this year. And they play, so a couple of easier teams that didn't really make it much of a difference last year. But obviously, who knows? It's a new season, so we'll have to wait and see. But I do think Seattle will win the division. They were very close, basically an inch away last season in Seattle. Obviously, if Jake Hollister, the tight end for the Seahawks, if he was just an inch closer, Seattle would have had actually a home field advantage throughout the playoffs. Unfortunately, they finished on the 5th seed and had to travel to Philadelphia and play a wild card game. So yeah, it was definitely kind of a tougher game for them, but I think Seattle does win the division. In San Francisco, I think they're still going to be a really good team, 11-5, just one game behind Seattle. I think they're still going to make a really good impact in the NFC West. They still have a really good coach, Jimmy Garoppolo. They got George Kittle. So I think they're really going to make a good difference. And I wouldn't be surprised if, these two games between Seattle and San Francisco were fairly close this season. And then in Arizona, obviously I have them going 9-7. I think, like I mentioned, Hopkins really has played well over there in Houston. So I think Kyler Murray will have a really good offensive weapon in that. And then saving the logo for last. The LA Rams new logo, obviously not really a huge fan of that logo, as a lot of people aren't really. But Jared Goff, I think he kind of digressed last year, and I don't know if he's going to be as good either. And kind of like you mentioned too with Jalen Ramsey, they kind of shot themselves in the foot signing him, trading for him, I should say. And I just don't think they're going to be as good. I think they are going to finish 7-9, but I wouldn't be surprised if they could finish 8-8 either.
Yeah, no doubt for sure. And I think when you look at all those teams there in the NFC West division, it's definitely going to be a fun one to watch for sure. And, for the 49ers last year making it to the Super Bowl for the first time in probably about 6-7 years. Of course, the last time they went there, Jim Harbaugh was the head coach, and then Kyle Shanahan comes in. He's done a really phenomenal job. Had his first 2 years, no doubt, were pretty tough, dealing with injuries, dealing with a young team that wasn't much experience. But then last year, really taking major strides forward with the healthy Jimmy Garoppolo. And no doubt, I think the 49ers definitely could have another good season again. But with Seattle, though, I definitely think that they get this division this year. Now moving on to the AFC West. This division right here, it's kind of not fair, I would say, because you look at Kansas City. They are just, when you got Patrick Mahomes on your team, that's all you pretty much need right there. He'll gunsling the ball to Tyreek Hill most of the time. But no doubt, I think KC does get that division title once again this year after a phenomenal Super Bowl championship season last year. And with the Chiefs, I'm going 12-4 this year. With the Broncos, second-year coach Vic Fangio, I think they make some good strides this year, going 9-7. I think with Drew Lock not being the starting quarterback, we'll see what he can do. Definitely going to go through some growing pains for sure, but I think with the Broncos and their schedule, I like where they're at. Going to make some good strides this year, like I mentioned. With the Las Vegas Raiders, now almost said Oakland right there. Probably say I probably will say Oakland. I mean, it just happens. Sometimes I also say San Diego Chargers. It just happens.
And also Washington too.
Oh yeah, that's definitely going to be
topic for another day.
Yes, topic for another day. With the Raiders, though, I'm going 7-9. Last year, the Raiders really impressed me a lot. Of course, they beat the Bears in London, which really pissed me off. But it did.
Hey, tell them how you feel.
Well, I would say a lot of things right now, but I probably shouldn't say them. It's going to make a lot of people mad, and I don't want to get mad right now. It's too late for that. With the Raiders last year, now I'm just upset. Now I'm just upset. Now I didn't want to do this no more. You suck. No, I'm sorry. With the Raiders, I'm going 7-9. Chargers 7-9. Go ahead. I'm too pissed now.
All right. So for my AFC West predictions, I also have Kansas City winning the division. I think they're going to go 13-3. I think they had a really good deep playoff run, and Patrick Mahomes has just proved to me he's the best, one of the best quarterbacks, that in the world right now, and also of a generational talent. So I really think Kansas City is going to win 13 games and only lose 3. And then for the Broncos, I also see them improving too. They have a young quarterback, and their defense has been better over the last few years. I think they could easily hit 10-6, but obviously, if the season finishes. And then I have the Las Vegas. I almost said Oakland too. I got the Las Vegas.
Trust me, it's gonna be very hard.
I got the Las Vegas Raiders finishing at 7-9. I think they're still, maybe a year or two away from kind of finishing that kind of rebuild. I think the location move is definitely going to be kind of a nice refreshing point for a lot of those players too. So I think, they're still going to have kind of a rough year, but I think they're definitely going to improve. And then the Chargers, 6-10, they don't have Phillip Rivers anymore. They're going to have a younger quarterback, and also Tyrod Taylor as well. So, they'll be fighting for kind of like whoever's going to start for them. I think they're still, again, probably 2 or 3 years away from kind of finishing a rebuild. But yeah, either way, it's Kansas City's division.
Yeah, for sure. With the Chargers having Justin Herbert, no doubt, I think the Chargers are going to be in good hands going down the road. Certainly be awkward seeing Phil Rivers play for the Colts this year, but I definitely think he still has some fuel left in the tank to try and go out and get a championship, because no doubt Phil Rivers is one of the best active quarterbacks without a Super Bowl championship right now. But yeah, no, definitely it's going to be interesting for sure to see how these divisions all play out. Granted, like I said, hopefully they do get through a full season. And every time I see I hear Patrick Mahomes, I just get sad.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
Well, I'm sure you feel heartbroken for me right now. I'm sure you do, because
I love the Bears.
Wait, what?
I love the Bears.
Yeah, right.
I want them to
hate the Bears.
I want them to do well.
Yeah, sure you do. Sure you do. Do you want Trubisky to have a great season?
I mean, I want him to. It doesn't mean he's going to.
Well, yeah, I'm quite aware of that. I mean, it's pretty obvious. I mean, 2018, it's like, oh my gosh, the Bears have a quarterback. And then last year, okay, well, back to where we once were. The Bears always stuck with quarterbacks. They always do. They've never had a. I mean, Jay Cutler was okay, and Kyle Orton was, good. And then Jim McMahon got them the Super Bowl championship, and Sid Luckman was good too. But
maybe eventually you guys will get a good quarterback.
Wait, what? Eventually? I don't know. Look, the Bears are in tough times right now. It's very sad to talk about the Bears. Okay, last year I was so excited, and then the first game of the year, it all proved that I got hyped up for nothing. That's all it was.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. The season hasn't started yet. Maybe Trubisky turns around.
I hope he does because
maybe he's not as bad as we think.
Well, I mean, I still have faith in him. I mean, I know you don't like him, but whatever. No, this is all good fun and stuff. But no, I'm really excited to see how this is all going to do. Now, kind of shifting gears here, still on some football news, but now the XFL is back in the news. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has bought the league, of course, scheduled to still buy it for only $15 million. I'd say for him, that's just pocket money right there for all that guy probably has.
Yeah, he's worth $250 million. So
there you go. It's not going to hurt his bank account, I'm sure. But no, definitely, this is definitely, I think, a good step here for the XFL. Last year we saw they were doing such a really good job. The games were fun to watch because it wasn't just the games, but if a player possibly missed a field goal or something happened, like a bad play, the sideline reporters got in their face right away and asked them, hey, what happened? So that was really kind of cool to see. They were not afraid to ask what had happened. But overall, though, I think for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, because, as we all know, he did play college football down in Miami, but never got the chance to play in the NFL. But now here's his chance now to own a football league. And as we all know, for me, football in the springtime, it's kind of like, who cares? Because here's the thing for me. I got baseball in the spring, and then kind of comes summertime. You transition into football preseason, fall-time football, baseball playoffs, and then you get into the NBA, college basketball, Super Bowl ends, all that stuff. It's like a pattern. When one sport ends, you got someone else to watch, for. But I think with the XFL, this is a good opportunity for some players maybe that were hoping to get a chance on on a roster in the in pro football. That's going to be their best opportunities to play in the XFL. Still make a living, make some decent money still, but eventually though you're hoping that you get that pro opportunity for sure.
Yeah, I think I know we kind of talked a little bit too yesterday about it when it happened. And I think it's a great thing for the XFL. I think if you want to promote a league, The Rock is the guy to do it. I mean, he's a huge celebrity. He has almost 200 million followers on Instagram. He has a lot of say in that kind of world, and he's definitely going to promote the hell out of it once it becomes a thing again. Probably won't see it in 2021, but probably can see it in 2022 or something like that, kind of after COVID. But yeah, I definitely think he could kind of turn that league around and make it something really cool. And even when they're playing during the spring, I could definitely see some guys that are they're not quite NFL talent, but they can prove themselves there at the XFL and maybe obviously get to that next level. Obviously, we saw with the Washington DC team of the XFL. Can't remember the name quite off the top of my head, but PJ Walker was one of the quarterbacks, and now he actually plays for the Carolina Panthers. So, and they only played a few games. So, it's definitely going to be interesting to see. I think it's going to be great. I definitely will be watching, especially if Seattle has a team again.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully Chicago gets a team too. That'd be really cool. Always like it when Chicago gets a team because then they can always go to the games there and watch it. Of course, as we know, you love Seattle sports. Of course, I know you really want the Sox to come back there, though. That'd be really big for them. And of course, the new hockey team got their team named the Kraken, so that's gonna be fun to watch there too. See how they can do there as well. So definitely gonna be really exciting to see how this is all going to play out. But like you said, 2021 probably be around the estimated time. Well, maybe 2022 even, because obviously it's going to take a little time to kind of get the league back up and running. But we'll definitely see what they can do right here. But certainly can't wait to see how that's all going to play out. So before we end the show here this evening, kind of want to take you back in time on this day, 27 years ago. Yes, this is going to be really hilarious. Robin Ventura. Here is 46-year-old Nolan Ryan. He hits Robin Ventura. Ventura right there. He charges the mount. And you can just see right there.
Tough scene right there.
Very tough scene for Robin Ventura. Oh, my gosh. Oh, yeah.
Just a brawl. Well, they're breaking a lot of COVID procedures right now.
Well, this is back in 19. This is 19. This is 19.
Oh, okay.
19, 1993. So I definitely would not think COVID was the issue back then. But yeah, you have a 20-some-year-old player there in Robin Ventura and a 46-year-old pitcher in Nolan Ryan. Yeah, who's going to win that fight? Pretty obvious it's going to be Nolan Ryan. But yeah, no major injuries right there, as you can see. Yeah, just kind of like what the hell happened right there. And yeah, they're still fighting, still trying to figure things out. But yeah, on this day in sports, that's what happened. 27 years ago to this day. So very fun right there. Can't wait to see what else is going to happen right there. But boy, I'll tell you what. Yeah, definitely. If that was happening today in baseball, definitely a lot of COVID procedures would be broken, and there's going to be a lot of fines and possibly suspensions coming these players' way if they were to do that.
Yeah, I mean, especially now. I mean, with all the rules and stuff, even their teammates can't even high five and stuff. So if there was a huge brawl, I mean, obviously they'd be breaking a lot of protocols and things like that. Obviously, yeah, that was pretty good brawl 27 years ago today, and. Yeah, you know, obviously when COVID ends, I wouldn't mind to see a brawl. It's always good to see those guys kind of fight it out.
Yeah, well, speaking of high-fiving, last night when the Cubs won, they were doing some high-fiving. So I don't know what's happening. I mean, hey, that's my favorite team. But, yeah, hopefully maybe if they got tested afterwards, things were all good. Obviously, they're being very careful with it. But, yes, be careful, no doubt. And, yeah, it's this has been fun, very fun.
Great first show, I think.
Yeah, great. Yeah, great first show. Great to talk sports again. This has definitely been a long, hard couple months for so many people, and I get it. So many people are still struggling. Of course, on a personal level, just hang in there. Hopefully, things do turn around here soon. All we can do is just be patient. And for sports fans, like in baseball and football, this is just basically a one day at a time deal. So we'll see what happens with that. But of course, thank you so much. If you tune into the show, thank you so much for listening. This has been Time Out with the Guys podcast. As a reminder, you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, of course. It's been so great. Carter, thank you so much for being here. This has definitely been a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Likewise.
Yeah, for sure. And once again, I'm Brad Burton. This is Carter Foley. This has been Time Out with the Guys podcast. And of course, if we can't talk sports, we can't be friends. Take care.